Man, the more I hear about Gina Carano, the more upset I get. Because watch any of her interviews, and you'll see that she's a very lovely woman. Now, of course, as an actor, maybe she's just pretending. Maybe she's just literally the best manipulator, the best two-faced person you can be. You know, like on the interview, she is very nice and kind, and then in private, she's like, but I just don't see it. You know, I'm usually a good judge of people, good judge of character. I don't think like people want to just do career suicide unless they're genuinely believing in the things that they are saying. So, you know, at least she's not dishonest with the things that she's saying. And from the interviews, it seems that she wasn't at the beginning even like right winger. She was just like seeing certain things that she was disagreeing with and was calling them out. I mean, the thing with the pronouns in the bio, which she did, apparently she didn't even think it's a big deal. Like, she didn't expect the crazies to come out of the woodwork and attack her just because she's doing some fun pronouns or whatever. And from her experience, it seems to be mandatory. Like, everyone that worked in that cast were heavily encouraged, like, do the pronouns, do the pronoun. And by the way, like, the pronouns in the bio, I already said, it's like those religious people that like to wear those big golden crosses on their neck. And you're thinking, like, nowhere in the Bible does it say you're supposed to wear a golden crucifix. Like, that's just a crazy thing for certain people to show how pious they are. It's like, hey, everyone, look, I'm a Christian. Am I not pious? Look what a big golden cross I got to hang around my neck. And it's literally the same with the pronouns in the bio. Like, there is absolutely no scientific basis that it would actually help trans people. None whatsoever. But what do they do? It's like, hey, man, look how progressive I am. I got pronouns in the bio. Literally the same thing. It's to show other people how virtuous you are, right? And Gina mocked it. I guess it's like wearing a crooked cross at your neck next to other Christians. Yeah, they would get upset about you're mocking their religion, you're mocking their spirituality. Because, like, at this point, it's not scientific, okay? It's just like, it transcends science. It's becoming into, I don't know, like a mental illness or a cult. It's probably a cult because they get really upset when someone doesn't believe what they do. So with the recent controversy, right, it turns out that Gina Carano was also fired from the Fast and Furious franchise. Now, if you remember, like, she actually did star in one of those movies, and apparently she suffered a tragic accident. But she was going to come back due to movie magic. And the people in charge of the production decided to remove her because she might be bringing controversy. Yeah, like this is why I'm saying it's a cult. Like, in Hollywood, you're not allowed to be right-wing. It's like, if you want to work there, all right, when you sign a contract with Hollywood, you don't just give your labor, you give your soul. Like, literally, I'm starting to believe those crazy Christians that were insinuating that Hollywood is satanic. Like, they want to control your thoughts. It's not enough that you have to go there on set and present yourself. No. You now have to just be in line with the hive mind. You need to connection established to the hive mind. And then they own everything, including your mouth, your thoughts, your mouthpiece. Everything becomes the property of Hollywood. And if you have the audacity to have different opinions on the Twitter or say, you know, something that other actors aren't saying, then you get fired. It's not because you're a bad actor, by the way. It's not because you're bad at the job. It's not because that you're not selling merchandise. No. It's like, okay, we're not really controlling this person the way we want. We can't puppeteer them the way we want. So we should make an example, right? Because here's what's interesting. Like, none of the new Star Wars toys are selling very well. I mean, I remember, at least in my country, when Star Wars was a thing, like a new movie would come out, it was very difficult to find toys of it because everyone would just buy them right away. With the new Star Wars, the toys are still on the shelves. They're still gathering dust. Gina Carano actually managed to sell her toys. Like, they were actually selling. And do you know what The Mandalorian did? They ceased production on those toys. Yeah. I remember when Destiny was saying that wokeness is done because it's profitable. But I'm not so sure after seeing this. I mean, the toys were profitable, they were selling, and yet for some reason they decided to terminate that. You know, Gina was actually popular with the fans. I mean, you can literally see her popularity, how many people rose up to defend her. And like, usually when someone gets canceled, very few people speak out about them. But like, she's got massive support. I love what the people on the Twitter are saying. It's like, hey, she didn't get canceled because she got hired somewhere else. That's like me saying, well, Einstein didn't get persecuted in Nazi Germany because he managed to flee to the United States. It's like, how is it like, just like, because you get fired from one place, okay, because of your thinking, that's what cancellation is. They didn't get fired because they suck at their job. They got fired because they're not pure enough. That's why they got fired. Because they didn't think correctly. They didn't, or at least they didn't lie, you know? Because I find it very difficult to believe that there isn't more than a dozen right-wing Hollywood actors right now. But there's probably a lot more. But they're not going to say it because they know what happens if you say it, okay? I mean, try this, you know, imagine this thought experiment that you go at the workplace with a blue coffee cup and you tell the first employee, as a boss, it's like, what color is this cup? And they say blue. Okay, you're fired. And they go to the next one. What color is this coffee cup? Blue. Okay, you're fired. Eventually, everyone is going to say it's red. That doesn't mean that they believe that it's red. But they're just saying it so they can keep their job. And I think this is what Hollywood is. It's like, it's why I literally don't care what actors have to say anymore. You hear one actor's opinion, you know all of the actors' opinions. Yeah, it's disgusting is what it is. And in a way, I'm glad that Hollywood is not doing very well. They should be a dying industry at this point. Like, I don't care. Something else should replace them. It's just disturbing. It's disgusting. You know, like, I'm a leftist still. I don't think a company should just own people like that. And this argument, my private company can do whatever it wants. Motherfucker, do you know, like, there used to be a time, okay, when, in my country, for example, you had the right to shoot people if they were on your private property. I think it's a little bit similar. I believe it was in the, before World War II, that was the case, right? So you had factories, okay, with workers in them. And at one point, the workers would strike. So they would occupy the factory. Now, the factory owner would give them a choice. Either you get back to work, or you leave the premise, you vacate the premise, or I get my guards to shoot you. Right? Now, imagine the commie from Twitter back in the day. Well, you know, my private factory can do whatever it wants. Because it was legal. It was perfectly legal what they were doing. Okay, but it was immoral, it was abhorrent. So people rose up and eventually passed legislation in order to cut that shit out. Because it's not okay. So why is it that all of a sudden it's okay for a company to do whatever it wants? I think it's immoral. I don't think a company should own the thoughts of the person they're hiring. Now, if Gina would use her influence that on the set, like when she's filming, she's speaking up about her ideology, then yeah, okay, fine. You know, that's one thing. Like, while you're on the job, while you're on the clock, you should behave in the way that the boss wants you to behave because you signed the contract, right? But the question is, like, do actors have any privacy? Like, can they be separated from their employer when they're at home? When they're on their personal Twitter, is that allowed? Do they get privacy? Or once you work for Hollywood, you're a public person representing the company nonstop, 24/7? Because apparently, like, this is what everyone thinks it's normal. It's like you should be a representative of the company 24/7. Everything you say, everything you do should reflect on your employer. That is just, why do you even want to push for this? And by the way, imagine if in a world where companies wouldn't be united under the same ideology, and you'd have, like, when you go to McDonald's, you need to take the politics and the ideology that McDonald's pushes, and then when you go to KFC, you now all of a sudden have to completely change your ideology and mentality. Like, that would be hell. Why do people think this is a good idea? I think it's the dopamine they get on the Twitter whenever they get someone fired or put out of a job. I think that's it. Because I can't explain it any other way. It's not a good world. It's not a place you want to live in. Most of these people probably don't have jobs, you know? The moment they start going to a corporation and they realize that, oh crap, I can't behave on Twitter like I used to. Or, oh my God, I hope my HR lady doesn't find out the tweets I said 15 years ago. Because that would get me fired. And they'll probably regret the type of world that they've been building. But anyway, right, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section.